Hello, storytellers. Storytelling Ron. I'm going to talk about how actually simple this role playing game is. It's simple. It's for Christians. It's for fellowship. It's for ministry. Let's get right into it. And this is making a missionary. You have same as Dungeons and Dragons and any of the others. You have an ability score, which I call traits, and the list here is to give you the basics, but you can add to it. Every skill roll, is put into a trait, right? Intellect. This just gives you the idea of what each one of these is, the general area. The main, though, for combat, for the fun stuff, obviously, is prowess, melee combat, physical exertions, even intimidation. I think is an intimidating thing. You could also use it under society if you wanted. Awareness, that adds to your defense. That's the only thing that adds to the 12. Oh, sorry, shield, helmet will add to the defense of 12, but everything else is armor save, like as far as upgrading and stuff. You have savvy, which to me is sort of like the thief things, okay, like picking locks, technical stuff, dealing repair and maintenance, and not the intellect is for crafting, engineering, and cooking, reading, whatever sort of path you take in it as being smart. But savvy is just for picking things up really quickly, doing things that just you need to do for that task, like a maintenance person. And spear is obviously faith points for your lessons, and then courage, even resisting fear, enduring pain, resisting poisons. You can also do it in prowess. I do this a lot with these traits. I'll have you have one or another. That can be kind of close to it, I don't mind doing that for characters, because some, enduring pain could be a spiritual thing, but it could also be a prowess, just toughing it out. Dodging could be a prowess thing or an awareness thing. That's in my view. Like you could be using your strength to dodge something, or your awareness. And climbing, I allow prowess using your strength or awareness, because you're just being more aware of where to grab and what to hold on to. I kind of do that. I allow that sort of room when it comes to rolling skill rolls. It's the same numbers comparable to Dungeons and Dragons, as far as getting a +3, +2, +1, or +4, and even that can be upgraded. And this gives you the basic concepts of the game. I guess I should just go over it real quick. The Grand Minister or GM prepares the mission, the role plays all non-player characters, and describes the scenery. Actually, I might have to edit something here. Who knows? The GM learns the rules, but no, I'm working on a final version of the Dark Ages. And by the way, I do have an apocalyptic version of this same game, and then a sci-fi version. So the game itself is this right? The sci-fi version, yeah. The game itself, you got spaceships. You got spaceships and robots and laser weapons, but the game itself is complete. I'm just finalizing the Dark Ages one, making nice, trying to make better graphics. The GM learns the rules but knows they are a guide. Discretion and fun are always paramount. Players make and roleplay the missionaries. They have a sheet to journal all gear and skills and things to remember. Each character has 6 traits. Players will come up with unique skills to add more to the roles. So you can come up with your own skills. You can you can do sewing, which is intellect. You could do praying, which is spirit. You can come up with your own skills. You don't have to have, there's not like a list that you have to have. And I'm also kind of against feats, talents, talent trees, all that kind of stuff, because I don't. It's a really good like sales gimmick. I think makes you want to buy more books, buy players' books or whatever. But to me, the most important thing in role playing is that you experience the character and the talents through role playing, through that, and thusly making up your skills. To me, skills encompasses all the sort of talents or things that you want. I might give into that and or you can homebrew, creating little talent pools, little buy these with glory points kind of thing. And I do have, for women, I have certain I call them women's abilities or in here, that are kind of like that. They're talents or feats, but they're specific to women, because all of their pagan role-playing games they basically erase women and have women play like men, right? That's what's going on in Hollywood. They're saying women equality, but it's not women equality. It's erasing women. It's erasing womanhood. It's erasing motherhood and replacing it with this neutral gray thing that just victimizes women. In my game, the women play women. Okay, they don't wield battle axes. Now they get to do light weapons, crossbow, dagger, desperate stuff, but they don't get to run around and just start swinging and thinking they're all that. Now, obviously, in the gun area, they can actually just shoot away. The great equalizer of the gun. So, but in the medieval times, yeah, women got to play differently, and I love it. Every woman that I have had playtest this loves it. I got to think like a woman now, and I'll go through that here in a minute. Game dice. So the unique thing about this is there's no level limits, there's no class limits, there's no skill limits or whatever. You can keep building up those skills, but it's obviously the diminishing return type of thing. So when you have a d20, you have your trait. That's the two things you roll to try to succeed. 12 is the default, so you can just start with that with people if they want. In the game you could literally just do that, and you can even limit it to 5. I call them die ranks. You can limit it to the first 5 die ranks, which is right here: D4, D6, D8, D10, and D12. Those are the die ranks. Okay, so as you get one die rank in your skill, you have D4. You get to add to the dice, to the die roll, right? To the D20 and the trait, and then the D4. And then if you get 2 die ranks, you get now it's a D6. If you have 3 die ranks, now it's a D8. What I like about this is that you're not always going to get a 1. I mean, you're not always going to get a 4, but you sometimes get a 1, and you're not always going to succeed. It's not like a constant number where you're constant. You always have this block of numbers you always are going to succeed at. I like that there's a range of potential. And this is sort of me breaking up some classes here, like the calling of a woman, warrior and clergy calling, but you can kind of move it around. A nun could get the blessings of a cleric, but I would require them to role play it, not just grab it, because they're a little different. And the clergy could get the blessings of the nun, but they'd have to role play it to do it. I want them to role play that experience. Why do you what do you say to the nun? Because you see what she does, blah blah blah. Or you go to a nunnery and talk to the nun sister, mother, and explore that. So the patron lady, the nun, they have woman's touch, and these are listen: cleaning, details and comeliness, distraction, feigning, mothering, pans, and more. They also get a plus D4 extra die, an extra plus D4 die to do those things. Now men can do these things; they're just not as good at women at doing it, because women, the more delicate, fragile creature of God's creation, has these things. And I've been married 30 years. I can attest to this. And every woman I know can do these beyond a man, just on average better. And so these things that they do, cleaning, hear me out. These things that they do, like say they set up a camp and she decides to clean, or the church, they get to a church, she decides to clean it up. That can give her or them some die rate bonuses, and it's called inspired die, which is very similar to inspiration points. But what it is you get to add another die rank to your roll. So if you have a skill that's 1 die rank and you have some inspired die, you can spend 1 or 2 and upgrade it for that roll. Okay, so a woman can spend a lot of time doing these things, details and comeliness. She can beautify herself because they know they're going to go meet with the Duke. And so that'll add to her social skills. Okay, so I have things like that, and all of this works whether you're in the APOC, Dark Ages, or Christians in or the sci-fi one, Christians in Space. Here's the character sheet. This is the same for all game systems that I'm setting up, all game settings, and very simple. It's you got your traits here. You got your name, glory points, and how much total and how much unspent, because you get glory points. And you can spend them on these things. I don't even have to really look at a chart to tell you what the costs are for each of these things. It's based on the traits are special because it's if you have a prowess of 2 and you want to go to a 3, it's 5. Right? You add them both together. So if you have a 4 and you want to go to a 5 plus, it's 9. So it costs a lot. But 5 and up, you start to limit them. You start to say, okay, if you go to 6, which is 5 to 6 is 11 glory points, you have to take one away from another trait because you're so focused on that, on your prowess, on your working out and stuff. I do stuff like that to kind of limit them after 5, and up. And women can't go above a 4 prowess, and they have less hit points, or I call it vitality. All men use a D6 for vitality if they want to buy more hit points, vitality. Women only get a D4. They are weaker, and I love when women, that are playing this see that, and then they, what they do? They act like women. I'm not going to lie to them that they're warriors, that they can wield a battle axe. I'm not a pagan. I'm a Christian. Weapons, very simple to hit, damage, burden. And here's my burden. All you got to do is 2 heavies, 3 lights, 3 mediums, 4 lights. That's it for everyone. You can carry more, but if you do, you will get a penalty to all rolls, which is, not a big deal if you're not fighting or whatever. And obviously, if you're doing like research, you're going to put everything down. And so, but there's that. Weapons, range is very simplistic, common sense kind of thing. Style is cool because style is a couple little extra things. So, for instance, a dagger and a crossbow and a bow. Here's what I like. I like to put in a thing called lethal. If it does 4 points of damage, then it actually adds another grievous wound. So in real life, daggers can kill a high level person in real life. A dagger can kill a special forces person. Okay. In D&D and all these other games, daggers can't seem to do much, right? They scratch. They do D4 and that's it. No, here there's a chance to actually kill. You got to get a really good hit, but you can do it. And so women can do that. Also, you see the damage here? See it has a D4? That's 1 die rank, right? D4. You can actually improve that. Yeah, you can actually go to D6, D8, D10, D12. Yep. In my game. I believe that. And the reason I do is because spending glory points. And so if you want to go from a D4 to a D6, the D6 is a die rank 2, so that's 2 glory points. You don't add them together like the traits, because the traits is a constant number, so I have them added. But for every die rank like this, a skill, the damage on there, armor save, you can upgrade it with the glory points, because what you're doing is you're training yourself to do more damage, specifically for the dagger. Okay, you're learning how to, yowza. So a woman could make her dagger very lethal, literally wielding it like a 2-handed sword. Now that requires a lot of training, spending glory points. Obviously, I'm going to, if she's going up against someone with a spear or a 2-handed sword, they're gonna swing before she does, or he, or whoever has a dagger. But they obviously can be very tricky and get up close to someone feigning. She has a feigning skill; she could feign and then get up close. But a woman would be very cautious to do that because she usually doesn't have that much vitality. So if she does get hit, she can take serious damage. Blah blah blah. So there's that. And a lot of these have different little things here that sort of exemplify that type of weapon and what they do. Here, armor, I'm going to go back up, by the way, but armor saves. You get an armor save. So after you get hit, because you're with your defense, if they roll above your defense, or your defense or higher, you get hit. Then you roll an armor save to reduce the damage. And what I also have is something called grievous wounds. If you get a grievous wound, usually from a nat 20, so you will be at minus die ranks. Depending on how much damage you take. If you get hit by a greatsword and you take, after armor save, after everything, you take 10 hit points of damage. Okay? Half that is 5. You're at 5 die rank wound. So that's minus D12 basically to all your rolls. Now, any penalty die that the person takes, whether it's burdened, whether they have a treacherous terrain, which is the negative of their armor save, whether they have whatever the factors are, they don't have to worry about those rolls. The GM takes the negatives and then adds it to his side, like to the defense of the creature they're trying to hit, or if they're trying to climb a wall, I will add that -5 die ranks to the wall because they're wounded. So it's harder to go up the wall. Like a climbing a wall is let's say a 12, and then I can take the 5 die ranks of that grievous wound that he has and roll it. So a D12. Let's say I roll 6, half of that, and add it to the 12. So now it's an 18 for him to climb this simple wall, and it's a simple wall. 12 is relatively easy to climb. So here's a great thing about die ranks is that I can use them for anything. I can throw like the wall. I could say the wall is at 12, but It's really high, so I'm gonna add a die rank difficulty. It's wet, I'm gonna add another die rank. It's raining outside because it's wet, so now a die rank. There's mud too. I'm going crazy, add another die rank. So I could do that kind of thing, and at the same time I'm describing the wall, right? And then I roll and add that to the difficulty of a 12. So that's the cool thing about using die ranks. Okay, so what if you go above 5 die ranks? Because obviously it goes to D12. All right, let me go down to the little chart here, because I'm going to go back and forth here. But this is my little note to keep writing some stuff. But if you go above die ranks, above 5 die ranks to 6 die ranks, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever, because you can do that, and it's great. I love it because it really helps with everyone just getting... you're not limited anymore. You're not limited. You can keep going up in skills. You can keep adding like relics and magic items, and you can add all this stuff, especially for like research and engineering. You can keep adding all this stuff to your role, and it doesn't blow out the game, right? It doesn't cap the game. You don't hit 5th or 7th level and it becomes a completely different game. You're just really wanting to, succeed at something, and you're trying to be careful in adding a bunch of die ranks and getting, or whatever it is. So what happens is it becomes a dice pool. And let's say you add up 12 die ranks. All you do is divide it by 5. Or here, 13 die ranks. Divided by 5 is 2, remainder 3, right? So you get 2 d12s, and your 3 remainder is a d8. And you roll it and keep the highest. That's what you do. Roll it, keep the highest. Okay, so that's... It seems a little complicated right now, but I'm telling you, because of this, I don't have to look up charts. I don't have to go anywhere. I barely look at the book. When I'm playing the game, when I'm GMing, I don't have to look at the book. I just do die ranks, blah, 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 da, da, da. And it's just, and I just divide by 5. Now, the math is a little, I gotta do math, but I just like it because I don't have to, I obviously got these fun hardbound books here, but I don't have to access them at all when I'm playing the game, except the one I do like to access is the fumble chart, and it's only a D6, so it's kind of funny. That's the one I'm constantly, and I'm just joyful when I do that one. But I mean, the other things I guess I would have to access is the list of gear, that kind of stuff. But the other little thing though, if you roll a D12, D12, D8 along with your D20 and your trade, and then what I like too is I like the dice pool. I like the funness of a dice pool. I love D20. And then I was playing Star Wars RPG, and I though I didn't really like the system, I thought the whole dice pool thing was kind of fun, kind of neat. So, but I really hated when you rolled the dice pool, you had to sit there and read it before you even could tell what the result was. Whereas in this, if you get an nat 20, boom, you're excited already. Then the dice pool is just a little extra fun, add-ons for it. The other add-on is if you roll 2 1s in your dice pool, you get a fumble. You still get to succeed if you succeed, but you also get a fumble. So that's fun. And that's something that's real in life. Like you actually do fumble sometimes, but still succeed at things, The other thing is if you roll above a 7 in the dice pool, or even if you just have a D12, if you roll 7 or above, you will cancel a nat 1. That's kind of cool. So it's just like you over skill it. You overtake your fumble with a skill roll with your based on your luck and skills, your die rank, whatever. Anytime though you roll above a 7 as well, you can add that to the result. So you could not explode all the dice. I did have that previously, but now you can explode any of the die that is a 7 or above to add to the die roll. And that's kind of neat. Okay, so that's the die rank thing, the dice pool. One more thing I do got to tell you about. What I love about this though, just so you GMs know, is that this it seems a little complicated because of this, but it solves all those level cap things that are silly in other games. I know all these other games, and they're totally make sense and all the success to them, I guess. But they just +1, +2, +3, very simple, very straightforward, have fun, easy. Okay, I get it. But the problem with that is that you have a level cap, and it's kind of weird. I want you to have a game where you can keep developing that character. I guess I'm not really into the killing off characters left and right type of thing, right? I'm a Christian. I prefer you having an epic, wonderful story. Now, I do make it so that it's dangerous, I would like to have a TPK of the characters, but generally speaking, they can, if they're just careful enough, generally speaking, and if they're smart enough about it, generally speaking, I don't kill them and throw them into the pauper's grave or anything. I want them to develop those characters, and this is the way to do it with no got a couple of characters on my Christians of Space, over 50 episodes now. They have over 100 glory points, and there's new people with like 20 to 30 glory points. They all can play in the same group and fight the same stuff and still feel the same threats. I love it. No, I don't have to like after the 50th episode, I'm still using regular Joe Schmo minions against them. You know, they're on average a little more successful now, but I'm using Joe Schmoes against them, and it could still be a threat to them. That's true in life, you know. So I just love that. All right, one more thing I do got to go over is die rank result. Okay, die rank result is rolling a number and then beating the 12, and then whatever that number is, subtract it. Half of that is die ranks, like a result, die rank result. So if someone has to roll prayer, and the reason they're rolling prayer is because they want to encourage everyone, right? So if they roll high and they get those die ranks, they can give those die ranks to the others as inspired die that they can then use, you know, in the mission or whatever they're doing. And same with cooking and comfort. Same with the cleaning that the woman does, the details and cleanliness. She gets die rank results. They all get die rank results, and I love die rank results for healing, repairs. There's a couple little different ways of using them, and you as a GM can decide. For instance, if someone gets a grievous wound, right? They get that two-handed, they get that big gash across them. A nun has miracle of healing, because you cannot that big gash across you cannot heal that with a long rest, right? That's what I love about this. You have regular vitality that you can heal on a long rest and hit points, but you also get grievous wounds, and those grievous wounds do damage. So the nun can do a miracle of healing to cure that, and she does it through die rank results. Now it's a blessing, so it's magical, but she that one specifically has to use die rank results to see how well she does. And if she gets she gets 10 above the whatever she needs to roll. If she gets 10 above it, you gotta get 10 above it. Half of that is 5 die ranks. She heals all 5. Okay, and it's not gonna be 12 that she has to get above, because it's 5 die rank wound. It's a big gash. So that a 5 die rank wound is a D12, and I would either roll it to be nice, or I would say 12 maximum. But I think roll it. I would roll it. It's in here somewhere whether I roll it or not. But I think it's roll it, because maximum is for engineering, right? When you want to do high grade, high tech upgrades and stuff. I will use the maximum number, but for the wound, I would be nicer and just roll a D12, add that to the 12. So let's say I roll 6, so it's 18. She has to get a 28 on her miracle of healing roll. Now her miracle of healing roll, she can add all these die ranks in, right? And mothering, her prayer, her inspired die. Someone can bless her to try to get that going. So that's an incredible roll that she does to get those wounds down, because those wounds are horrible, and they are very I love it because it makes everyone feel mortal too. You don't just have vitality where you feel like you're invincible and you're just going down a little bit at a time. You could get a grievous wound and die instantly. You actually could die instantly in this game, which is true for devastating stuff. But anyway, lots of die rank result stuff here that are fun, that I like to use. Does it slow down the game a little? It does. It does a little bit, especially because people want to do all these different crazy things, and you got to sort of interpret that in game mechanics. And this way, I don't have to go look at a chart or anything. I just use their die ranks, their dice pool, and then if they're doing something because they want to help somebody else with their skill, like aid skill or prayer or surgery or healing, instead of looking up a chart and saying, here's what you need to do, I just know about the die rank result. And I know in most other games, you got to either do a chart, or you just got to do a theater of mind where they just make up that you succeed or not, or just beat a 12 and I guess you heal them, like that kind of thing. I wanted there to be a visceral game mechanic that they got to deal with, but everything they do deals in this way. Okay, so that they know, there's this little tough thing they got to go through if they want to do something extravagant or special. And players are always coming up with things, right? Like say they want to do a cinematic move. I just say, well, okay, on your maneuver turn, because you have a maneuver turn and one action turn. On your maneuver turn, You do have a skill in cinematic move, or what skill are you using to do this cinematic move? Well, I've got gymnastics. I wanted like, okay, roll it. We're gonna do a direct result, and whatever you get to add to your attack roll. That's how I do it. I don't have to look up some chart. I don't have to go anywhere. I just know that what they're doing can be done in a direct result. And it's a tough sell, like, that I'm doing this, but it's so worth it. It's so, wow, just really everything. You can do everything. Look over here. I got trade. Well, actually, no. I was going to say the engineering rules, but they're here somewhere. Or, well, it's the Dark Ages, so I don't have it on here. They have it a little bit though. But anyway, the combat is just a couple pages. Very simple stuff. I don't have initiative anymore. I just order combat is just crazy. I mean, I base it on whatever makes sense. Like someone with a spear will go first. Someone who's got a loaded crossbow will go before that. Someone who's got a dagger may go first, but it depends on if they got surprised or not. I just if someone's sounding out, go. I just let them. Just it's how fun it is. Now, actually, the rules are really within here, and this denouement is really important for a Christian role-playing game, for any real role-playing game. Actually, it's not about murder hobo killing everybody. As a combat progresses, and the players are funny. They always ask me, "Is the denouement time? Denouement?" They're trying to get the violent cultists, or whatever, because I mean, hopefully they don't start a violent thing. But then there's always going to be some violent. Then as things progress and things get bad for the villains, they got to roll denouement to see if they give up and surrender or back off or whatever, and that's what this is. And it's kind of like die ranks: D4, D6, D8, D10, D12. But I don't do any other factors. I just do based on their what sort of class they are. Are they lowly commoners, lowly foes, hirelings, warriors? We'll have a D6. Gang bosses will have a D8. Leaders will have a D10. Demonic being possessed will have a D12. And basically 1 through 3 is sort of like a surrender mode. 4 is just cautious but still fighting. 5 and above is more like they still want to fight. 5 is let me fix a little typo here. 5 is still combative, but if sees weakness will fight back. If sees strength, will retreat. 6 and above is basically they're going to keep fighting. So that's what this kind of means. This little thing here. And I don't add any other factors because the factors are just triggering the denouement. So I keep it very simple as far as like that roll. I just think of who's the highest class in that encounter. Are they still alive? I will roll based off of them. I might even like do the gang boss as a D8 and then do one of the lowly foes as a D4 if I feel like they're separated enough. They're not cohesive enough. So as a GM, you can kind of do that. You can decide that. There's obviously the fun Nat 1 foible roll. Now there is the blessings. Yeah, let me go to blessings. I was going to talk about the other game systems, but let me just do power of faith, and these are all in all the game systems, by the way, or settings rather. Same game system. I have broken it up into deliverance is the most important. That's how much you want to do. For instance, heal. If you have faith points based on your spirit, and you can do die 1 or die rank 1, die rank 2, die rank 3, you can do D4, D6, D8, adding to your faith points. And what I did is I broke up faith points into 2 different things: faith for an encounter and faith for the day. Faith for an encounter always resets every encounter, every strenuous, stressful, harrowing encounter. You get new faith points, so you get a new set. Faith for the day is faith points you do during peaceful time, and that one is narrative based. It could be for a day, it could be for the period that you're at the church, over a week or a month. I could allow, and it's kind of narrative and arbitrary or discretionary in the sense of I might give them a faith for the day for the first part of the church rest, and then for the second part of the church rest. Depending on what they're doing, what their story is, what are they spending it on, what are they. So this one's very role-playing, narrative based, but the encounter one is the important one. Well, the one where you're in combat, and you get to roll that every time at the beginning of a session of combat or stressful situation. So let's say you want to heal someone in combat. You just roll your deliverance is 1 faith point, which is a D4. I want to quickly heal someone, D4, and then that heal looks like fight on, brother, like that. And that's what the heal is. And then protection, I want to give them a defense. may the Lord protect you. May the Lord protect you in this fight. That's what the protection is. And you can give him a D4. You can also do deluge. You can spend another, say, faith point on deluge, which is D4, how many people are affected. Duration. You can also spend another faith point on duration, roll a D4. I mean, they could go be two faith points, 3. And that's how many turns. So, same with heal, same with protection, same with bless. Bless gives them a bonus to their rolls, a die rank bonus to their rolls. So it's that kind of thing. Duress is adding to to resist. So a 12 is the normal resist for anything. Duress, there's like rebuke. If you want to rebuke the bad guys, when it comes to the minions, they automatically just take the drain of vitality. They actually take damage from rebuke. But if it's, say, a witch or a priest, sorcerer, they get to resist the rebuke. And you can add then a faith point to your duress to make it stronger. It starts with 12. You can add one faith point, which is a D4 roll, add higher. And distance is discretionary on the GM based on how much they spend. Okay, it explains in there. And then so here's the list of blessings. And what they do. And, I just explained a few of them. The nun has her own, and obviously she has Miracle of Healing, which is kind of unique because it uses the die rank result. The other ones are all just, do them. For the most part, there's a little bit, but see how short they are and simple. I try to keep them really simple. Okay, Paladin has it as well. They have Glory, Holy Weapon, things like that, against unholy things. Okay, let's go to Woman's Touch. A Woman's Touch is those. Oh, I just told you what those are. Details and columnists, but that's what those are. They're here, and that's really the end of the player rules or the game rules. I'm kind of done. Glory points, obviously, it explains all the different things, and then the rest of it is GM stuff, GM guide stuff. Now, in the the game is really simple, and I am a 45-year veteran GM DM of all kinds of games, Dungeons and Dragons. Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, and 5e. I didn't do any of the rest. I did Rollmaster. I did MERP and Rollmaster and Space Master, and I really was into ICE, International Crown Enterprise games. Then I did Call of Cthulhu. I did Ghostbusters, believe it or not, which is really cool. I really love that one. I've done... what else have I done? I'm not sure what else I've done. But anyway, I created my own previous game, long-running game like this back in the day that I did for like 10 years. And I don't even know where that one is anymore. But anyway, so this is my Christian role-playing game. You play a Christian. Quick thing about how do you do a Christian role-playing game? Yeah, that's probably good. All right, here's one of the simplest ways here. Conversion level. You have a conversion level. And these, like, if you're violently evil, obviously they're going to want to just immediately attack you. And they get a 5 die rank resist against your preaching, your rebuking, things like that. If they're really crazy. The rebuking, I don't do it if they're minions. This is mainly for conversion, not for rebuking and stuff. If you rebuke them down to 0, then you preach to them, they would get this 5 die rank, against the preaching part. But they would not be violent or anything. They would just be, you've rebuked them, so they're weak. But they wouldn't convert. They're just evil. You basically got to preach to them until they go up this thing. Some of them, though, if they do resist completely on the first try, are never going to be saved. They're just not chosen. Yes, I'm a Reformed Baptist or Calvinist, something like that. I welcome, though, Catholics and Orthodox who actually follow, the 10 Commandments in the Bible. I welcome them because I know we have our differences and we can even scream and yell heresy at each other, but I don't care. That's up for the pastors, priests, and reverends to deal with. I just want a church culture back. I want our church culture back. The Catholic, Orthodox, and Protestant church culture. That's what I want back. That's my goal in my life for our children. And the reason I'm doing this game is because we don't have a church culture anymore. It's crazy pagan culture with grooming and sexualizing children, blah, blah, blah. LGBTQ and all that. I want a church culture back. So that's why I made this game. I'm in the RPG culture. I want a church culture. So this game then helps you as a GM create a pagan world that your characters can go missionary in. It gives you, these are ideas you can roll and get a flavor of the village or beasts or whatever's in the area. Okay. And when you convert people, it's a wonderful thing. I'm working on like relics and things that are like cool holy items. And you know, I'm a Protestant, so I don't necessarily believe in that relics and stuff. But church history, church fathers, most definitely in their hagiographies, which is the accounts of the early church fathers, most definitely had the, you know, they grabbed onto things that gave them hope, memories of their fallen martyrs and brothers who were missionaries and you know, and sisters who suffered for the Lord. And so there's a lot of that in there. And you know, and it's a thing where you just hold on to something, like even your Bible, and it gives you inspired die, or it gives you, you know, a plus die rank kind of thing. So I look at it that way as well. It's a positive thing you hold on to that helps you in your thing. And you know, I've got evil stuff, evil spells, evil names, the black magic, and there's gonna be some magic in here. And let me explain the magic. Fireball. It's you know, you have fireball here, but it's basically a person who knows how to deal with fire and spread it and throw it, and so it's basically like chemicals and stuff like that. I still believe in black magic and demonic possession and all that, and that's in here. But there's also this elemental wizardy thing where people can use blazing pig, right? Destroy stone. You know, it's a sapper engineering type of thing. And their magic points are called prep points. So the wizard can have prep points for every encounter of fireball, like, you know, or whatever they're going to use, whatever they know. These are like, you have to get a magic book or learn about this to even use it, right? So, and these are not meant to be really main characters. These are meant to be evil wizards, you know, that go up against the main characters. Because if one of the players wants to start using this, which they can, if say they start using fireball, right, and do it and destroy some cult members, right, with and you know, they help with the Christian missionary work. The village is going to be like, yo, you're a fire god. We, you know, no, I'm a follower of Jesus. No, you use fireball, so you obviously, you know, so it's going to make it harder for them to convert if they start using all this pagan, you know, like this pageantry and theatrics to win the day, as opposed to the word. Because in history, remember, the missionaries always used the word. It was pagans who used this pageantry, these illusions, these puffs of smoke and fire in their shows and to sell their pagan gods. Christians didn't do that. I mean, today maybe they do it with all the freaking lights and, you know, and music shows, but ergo, back then, pageantry was very important to paganism. You know, look at witches. They have to be attractive and seductive looking and put on a bunch of makeup and you know, do all that. Because they just can't sell themselves like a nun does. They can't sell a lie without doing more lies. Okay, so you know, creatures are simple, and you can see the stats are very simplistic. I just put in the traits I think that they might need or not. They have a defense, and that has to do with aware or small. You know, I have little things that might have a factor there. Armor save for obviously a swarm is nothing. Armor is nothing, and save is nothing. Save is armor save. Armor is the description of their armor, and vigor is their hit points. Same as vitality. I just put vigor now just to be difficult, but it's the same. It's 8 hit points. Bite plus one. Here, let me do something that's a little more normal because the swarm is kind of odd. Okay, wolf. Defense 14, armor fur, save 1, just one little thickness. Vigor 7. Bite plus 3 does d4 damage. Okay, and I could add like lethal and bleed. And you can do that too, especially if you upgrade the wolves into something scarier, bigger fangs or whatever. But for this, I'm just trying to keep like a simple thing. Over here, you can see lions and tigers. They actually have to see this little D4 asterisk. That's because they're brutal. Right here, brute plus D4. So what this means is I'm adding an extra damage here. Oh, boy, the bite is a D12. Is that comparable to a whatever? I'm leaving it. So the lions have a very scary way of, you know, not only doing a lot of damage but also having an extra D4 there, and there is brute in the game, brutal or brute. I think it should be brutal, not brute, brutal. I'm gonna just fix that to brutal. And the brutal was as that. Obviously, lions and bears have brutal. Well, this one has brute as well. Brute is size, but it's really meant to be brutal. The There's also unholy D4, like you can if you want to do like a demonic. I'm so low here. I've changed my teleprompter, so I'm a little low. The There's also an unholy, so you can have an unholy, which is an extra die as well. But that's a little extra fun thing. Okay, sorry, I'm just really doing okay. In the APOC, you have vehicle. I did a little more infographics here to show you how the game works. With the dice pool and die rank results, and showing like different characters and all that. And this is in Crystal Space as well. So the APOC setting and the Crystal Space all have the same, very similar rules because it's all the same stuff. Here's the character sheet, same as the Dark Ages one. Here's the character classes. And then you have the gear, which is obviously the fun part. You get a transport with all the supplies. And here's the gear of weapons and weapon styles. Added a little more stuff. And the weapon style, the style is an optional thing that you can play later. You don't have to add it at the beginning of the game if you want to keep it simple. The players should like start using the weapon styles when they want to get into like delving into it more. Starting gear. See, I got all this. This is just another character sheet option. You can print that out. It's on my website. I don't know if this one's on my website actually. The other one is, but this one may not be. I decided to do a list of skills that you could use, but you don't have to. You can come up with your own. But these are kind of like some basic ones. Just gives a player an idea. Combat, same one. This is me stupidly. It's so funny because I could have just made a game system and then had all my settings separately, but for some dumb reason, I decided to just do all 3 games with the game system. But as I was working on it and playtesting, I would change one, and I would have to remember to go and change the other 2. So I tried then to go back to doing one game system with the settings, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't mentally. I didn't want to do it spiritually. I didn't want to do it. I love like each one is in their own little goofiness here. See, and I'm gonna. Oh, I see a misspelling here. Maneuvers. I'm gonna fix it here, but is it gonna be in the other ones now? I got to go back and look. Just be aware of that. I'm gonna have things like that all the time. Oh, armor. I spelled it wrong. I spelled it the English way. Now, I do it in another thing. Preparations I misspelled. Look at this. Preparations. Okay. Exercise. Oh, it says this. S. See? I'm finding little things I misspelled. I've gone through this so many times. And for me to sit here with you, look at the unholy. I misspelled unholy. I can't believe I'm finding these right now. Like, oh my gosh, little. What is wrong with me? I found 5 on this page. That's ridiculous. Okay, whatever. Is there more here? Oh my gosh. Did I not do this? See, I've done three of them. There's the other ones. And then what's funny is a lot of these are I can't do because they're they're things I've made up, words I've made up, like text spice. Man, I am finding a few here. This is ridiculous. On the APOC. Well, my apologies, guys. I'm gonna figure that. See, reptilian, I can do that. Text by dice pool, Okay. I think I've just kind of ignored the misspellings because of so many original words that are in it that are misspelled, But man, I'm finding some. Okay, I'm gonna have to go through this and then fix it on. I misspelled medicine. Okay, see, medicine, research, all this stuff. And by the way, this is just to teach you how it works. But I don't need to look at this anymore. That's probably why I haven't fixed any of this. I don't need to look at it anymore because I just know to use dice pool and die rank results for it. Once in a while I'll look at, like, what I do know I need to always go look up is ramming, because they always do some ramming, and I have rules for that are kind of fun and simple. But yeah, I have ramming vehicles. I have here's the vehicles. I got rocket launchers, heavy weapons, vehicle combat, and I talked to a guy. Oh my gosh, I misspelled this. I talked to a guy who's a police officer, one of our players, or was. And I just asked him about my shooting. How does it feel? Based on what he knows, and he's like, it's fine, it's good. He likes it. I've certainly made it to where you're gonna last maybe a bit longer. But I always hear about how gunfights can have a ton of bullets. Oh my gosh, I've done a bunch of misspellings here. This is ridiculous. I'm gonna update this. But and I'm just scrolling through just to show you. Okay, let me get back on track here. Hex map, you can create your own hex map crawl for APOC. So it's a random new world, right? Devastated wastelands, 2100 AD, random new world. You can create with hexes, and it's cool. And every hex has an adventure, and you roll it out. I just scrolled through, but you roll out your adventure. And here's like one. Then I just made this one up without rolling it out because I'd done this before. I created that, but I have a few here. This one I think I rolled out. I have a few here where you roll it out and you kind of then create your scenario, and then you create the battle map. This one I rolled out. Marauder base, and I think I just made this one. I don't know. Anyway, some of them I made, but then I started using the chart. But look, those are all, and then here's some creatures, and you can add more creatures, and there's a whole bunch in here. So yeah, and see, I have all these I have all these original words, so I can't tell, the misspellings. I have a hard time looking for that. Okay. Christians in Space has spaceships. Yep, you have. Look at it. This is our spaceships in Christians in Space. If you can see that, this is a spaceship. It's a battle map. So when you're having a space combat, you're actually shooting each other and destroying parts of your battle map and running around fixing it, or running around, or having to run away from a place because it's the vacuum of space is about to blow you out, unless you run get to the next area and save on a 12 versus your aware prowess to fly over there. So yeah, I just just kind of like I got what a great time. I'm just trying to prove to you that we Christians can have a role-playing game that's expansive. It's awesome. The settings, by the way, is all Earth timelined and creation science adherent. So all the aliens, yes, we get aliens. We get dogmen and sharkmen. They're all genetically modified from Earth terraforming and stuff, or from planetary terraforming, mad scientists, mad AI. We know AI can be mad and create things, and so all these planets have different alien type creatures and beings and freaky dings, and there's terror robots and terror bio bugs and all kinds of crazy stuff. We can take every genre, toxic zombies, mutated beasts. Okay, so we get all of that in this and more, and you can create whatever you want in that scope that's still biblically adherent, because obviously I'm doing sci-fi, so it's in the future. I'm asking Jesus to come 500-600 years later. That's all. Just asking him to wait another 500-600 years so we can have this. And the reason I have that timeline to be so short like that is because I want you guys to know that it only takes 100 years for dramatic changes in our history, especially now. Look at today, how accelerating it's been. Like when I was born and growing up, there was no computer, or at least we did not have computers. I still remember those punch cards they used at the hospital. They would punch in your medical record or your info in a punch card, a little like a manila material with holes in it, and they would put it through the machine and would anyway, it was crazy. Computer came out when I was a kiddish. Yeah, video games, computers. So look at that. Within my lifetime, we have so much stuff. So to me, this is about teaching us a better overview of life and of missionary work and church planning, and kids too. Evangelizing, getting kids to evangelize, man. Getting you and me to evangelize in a game. Getting us to always be aware of God, of Jesus Christ, of the church, of the Holy Spirit is just a wonderful thing, and that's what this game is all about. That's what these games are all about. And I have no market. I have no market, but any Christian that's listening to this, and obviously the church and Christianity is against role-playing games and I can see why. They're all pagan. They all promote paganism. They all get you to play as a pagan. So I have no market. That's how smart I am. I have no market for this. So I have to create a market, and that's what I'm desperately trying to do on YouTube, and desperately. And I'm getting blowback from pagans, but I'm getting blowback from Christians as well. So maybe I should just stop doing it. Maybe that's a sign that I should stop doing it. But I'm gonna keep doing it, because it's not that I'm God has had me do this, Holy Spirit has me do this. I don't want to say that, because I don't want to put that on you or me as like that type of thing. I don't like when Christians do that. I'm doing it because I love the Lord, and I just want to do something for the Lord, and however stupid and foolish I am, I just love the Lord, and whether I fail to succeed at this, and my entire life has been a success. So what I've been doing in my life has been successful. So I know how to do everything except make money. Everything else, though, I'm really good at. I'm really good at everything else except how to make money. But yet I live in a home where other people know how to make money. So there you go. But I do other things here, like, other things. Okay, all right. You want a fellowship with other Christians? Do this. Are you afraid that if you bring in your faith into a role-playing game, everyone will leave you? You will be kicked out? Stop being afraid. You will be kicked out. They will leave you. But it's okay. That's what I've done. And now I have a regular group on Thursdays I do this with, and they're all Christian, and we're all having a great time, and we're not pushing any paganism on each other. We're making fun of paganism. And we're having fun with the Lord, and we're learning about evangelism too, actually, and church planning. And we want to take that to the rest of the world, like to the real world. We want to bring this, because it helps us all to think about that, what we're doing for the Lord. It's a drill, it's a practice, it's building our psyche. And I am now an evangelist on YouTube. I suppose I'm an evangelist, and this game is an evangelist tool for you. So you can create your fellowship, start with a fellowship. Okay, so if you lose everyone and you're kicked out of your game, right? Start a new game. Find Christians that want to play a role-playing game. It's hard. It's not supposed to be easy, right? And now I have more than enough players. And of course, this is the only players in the entire world that are playing this, but that's okay. I'm trying to expand out for you guys and let you guys do it. And an easy way is, like, you don't have to quit your other games, but do create one that's Christian, that's an Christian RPG, and find Christians. It's, before you quit your other games, you can do that. You can two-time or whatever it's called. But it's just, if you play those other games, the D&D and the pagan games, you're gonna always have to deal with pagans. And you're like, oh well, but that's what I should be doing. All alone? Should you be all alone in a group where they're all playing pagans and you had to play a pagan with them? Or should you fellowship with other Christians, form a group, turn it into a ministry together as a fellowship, and then take that to the world? Because right now you're being swallowed up in a pagan group, and they don't mind that. They don't mind you being a token Christian who can't do anything. But what if you're a group and you start teaching others about this game, and then you start taking it out to the world, out to the conventions, or out to whatever, or to the churches, So yeah, that's what I'm hoping for this game. I mean, it's a ministry, and you can be your ministry too, if you're into RPGs like I am. Okay, all right. Just wanted to do another video, enjoying myself, the game of life, and thankfully I didn't want to do another political rant thing, but I do them because I keep getting thrown at me all this stuff. But I love just delving into this fun stuff. But anyway, game of life, roll holy dice.